Welcome to the OnlyFans Secrets Marketing Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to help both new and established OnlyFans creators learn the basics of online branding, marketing, and promotion to help you make more money with your content and maximize your time online. My name is Richard Lewis, and I have over 20 years of internet marketing experience. So let's get started with today's topic. That topic is how to A/B test your OnlyFans promotions. Okay, so A/B or split testing is a way to determine what ad or promotion does better. You can then use that ad to convert at higher rates. In this episode, we'll discuss how to perform proper A/B testing. Okay, so what are the benefits of A/B testing? So let's say you do 2 photo shoots. Each shoot requires outfits, it requires time, and it requires effort, obviously. You then post both of those with 0 testing. You could instead do 1 photo shoot and test the pictures and ad copy on each. And now you've saved yourself time and money determining the best ad. So you end up being able to do less work and also be able to determine what the next outcome should be. So what kind of photo shoot should you do next time? What sort of ad copies should you provide in your next ad? All of that would be revealed. But if you just keep basically doing shoot after shoot or producing content without any testing, you end up having to do sometimes twice as much work. Okay, so how does A/B testing work? All right, so first you create 2 different versions of the same piece of content. And what you do is you change a single variable between the 2 ads. And you show these 2 versions to 2 similar sized audiences. Then you analyze the results over a specific period of time. So version A is known as the control ad, and version B is known as the challenger ad. So that's basically how A/B testing or split testing works. So what are some common variants, as far as what that variable should be? Okay, so one would be a position of call to action image in an ad. So as we talked about before, having call of action basically just means, or call to action means something that you're telling, people to do, that you want people to do. And what you can do is you can change the position of the call to action image in a particular ad that you're running. You can also change the wording of the ad. So you can change different words, put them in different places on the ad, or even in combination. And then you can also make design changes. So that could be different colors, position of the pictures, etc. So basically just how the ad itself looks. And, you can make that one change between having a blue background or a white background, that kind of thing. And then your call to action wording on the button itself. So if you had a promotion and you were saying, buy now as, opposed to, purchase on OnlyFans, something like that, you can change the wording itself on your call to action button. And then you can make a decision not to include text at all in one version, and then maybe, have text in the other, in the second, the challenger ad, or vice versa. And you can use also totally different pictures. So you could A/B test with the same content on 2 different pictures, posting one picture with all of your ad copy and then another picture with all of your ad copy. So that would be a very popular one. And then determine which of them did better. Then you can also change the price in an ad. So you could figure out whether or not, the price was the determinant. So if you had the same ad and everything being the same, except for you were saying, okay, this is going to be $5, and then the next ad said it's going to be, $10, you can determine, how much more, interaction you get from that one variable change. And then also you can add basically a time period onto the ad. Limited time offers work a lot. So you could say, one ad just said, it was going to be $5, and the next ad said, it's going to be $5 until a specific date. And you could determine and figure out, okay, how much more interaction do I get based off of putting that information into the ad. Okay, so then you have, what are the goals of A/B testing? So you want to increase, the traffic, or you have different goals. So one of them can be increase your OnlyFans traffic overall. So if your goal is to get more people onto your OnlyFans page itself, then that can be the goal, just basically anyone coming in. And then you can also have the goal of there being higher conversion rates. So more sales and subscriptions, even if you have less people coming onto the page. So conversion rate basically just means, how many people converted or how many people bought, as opposed to the number of people who came in to begin with. So you want to try to increase your conversion rate, with better ads. And, so that therefore you don't have to have as many people coming in, but you're going to end up selling more from less people. And then you also just have things like lower bounce rates, which is a technical term, which means the number of people who come onto a web page and then just immediately leave. So, that can be within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, depends on what you determine your bounce rate to be. But that's basically people who just came in, didn't care at all, and leave. So, you're basically testing to see, what's going on with the people who come in. And those are some factors that you can have as goals. Okay, so let's go over a step by step on how to do your A/B testing. Okay, so first you want to pick your one variable to test. So that's step one. So we went over before about the different variants and the different variables. So your first thing is to determine between your ad copy what it is you want to change. And remember, your version A, that's going to be your control ad. And that could be an ad that you've been running previously. But keep in mind that you can't use the information that you've gained previously, because that would be erroneous. So you'd be trying to test your version B against version A of the past. It would be not the best idea. So you can't just take that kind of data and say, okay, well, now I'm going to run a B test and say, okay, well, how did this one do? You have to run them at the same time, because you have to have as few variables as possible. Because again, you only want the one variant to be whatever you've chosen. So you don't want it to be, okay, one was run on a weekend, the other was run, at 5 a.m. or 9 p.m. You'll never know. You won't know what the exact, thing was that changed the success of the ad. So you want to make sure to go ahead at step one and pick the one variable that you want to test. Okay. And then secondly, you want to identify your goal. So as we just went over some goals, but if you basically don't know your goal from the beginning, you're going to end up like reading your results once you get results from your A/B test differently. So you have to establish from the very beginning what you want from this test. It could be as much as just more likes on the particular ad copy that you put out. more people interacting with it, more impressions, more comments. Again, these are, all decent goals to have on your particular ad copy. But you have to set from the very beginning what that goal is, because what will happen is that you'll come back and you'll say, okay, well, I ran these two and this one had more comments, and does that mean that's better than more likes or more impression? So you won't know, but if you set it from the very beginning, you'll know what you're looking for from the test. Okay, and then you want to create your control and your challenger. So now that you have your variable, you have your goal, now you want to go ahead and make sure that you have your control. And that could be an ad that you've run previously, or it could be a brand new ad, but it's an ad that does not include the variable. So it's just the most base. And as I mentioned, you can have things like a picture and then, one picture with text and picture with a different text, or one picture with no text, or two different pictures, but you keep all the text the same. But don't change several things in it. So don't make like a picture and it has words, and the other one is a different picture, and now it has different words. Because again, could be the words, could be the picture. So you have to make sure that only one thing has been changed here, and that is for the control. So the control is your base, and then you have the challenger, and that's where a variable has either been added or changed. All right. So you want to make sure that your split sample is equal and random. So again, you can't run these ads at completely different times and expect the same results. So you want to make sure that whatever audience you are putting the ad in front of is as close as possible to each other. And you want to make sure that they are random. So, the people coming in aren't pre-selected. You're not looking at two different social channels and saying, okay, well, I'm going to run this on Instagram and I'm going to run this one on Twitter. Because again, you could have built up different audiences on each of those. And so therefore, they're not technically random. They have been built up over a period of time. They're different. So you would have to run the sample on the same platform, preferably. And again, you need a decent sample size. So, you don't want to just, run this on something that is, low population. So a lot of people are going to see it. You want to make sure that it's with a decent sample size as well. Okay, and then step 5 runs right in. Determine your sample size. So sometimes you can determine this, if this is applicable. Sometimes you can say, oh, okay, I'm gonna run this to this group of people because I know that there, a certain number of people are online at this time that are following me on this platform. If you're able to determine an exact sample size, that's great. In a lot of cases, you aren't going to be able to determine this exactly. So it's just a suggestion. If you're able to control that, go for it. Okay, and number 6, decide how significant your results need to be. So again, if you have been running an ad and that ad has been pretty effective for you, and now you're running, the challenger ad, basically, you have to determine, in order to make that changeover, that switch over, what does the challenger ad have to do? Does that have to do with end game, kind of actions like number of subscriptions? Or does that have to do with, things like retweets or likes or comments? What's the determining factor that is going to make you switch over the two ads? So you have to figure that